Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today I'm back with a Jinx supplementary guide, and today, it's not so much about the build to be very honest, it's more so about just me playing Jinx and using the new, not that new anymore, but still relatively new, Arcane 2 Jinx skin, which I think it's called Arcane Prodigy Jinx. Obviously, I am a huge fan of Arcane. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are too, being in the universe of League of Legends and Wild Rift. But I basically didn't want to go with the plain Jane old kind of boring build of this. This is basically Jinx's best build, and this is pretty much like I don't think there's any two ways about it, but this is basically Jinx's best build, going for Bloodthirster first into Runans and then into Blaster. But there was of course the patch where Stormrazor was buffed, which is of course patch 5.3. And I was thinking, you know what, Jinx used to build Stormrazor at one point in time, so let me try out Stormrazor and see if it's good. So basically with the build here, I'm starting off with the Gluttonous Greavespore, the AD and Omnivamp, and then I go into Stormrazor as a first item. This is of course going to give me the AD crit attack speed, as well as giving that bonus damage, as well as of course the slow and the speed up as well. So really strong kind of early game item, but of course Jinx is not a very strong early game champion. Can help a little bit if you're snowballing, but it's really more of just to test it out, right? So if you're already going for Stormrazor, why not of course go for Blaster as well? And going Blaster second item, of course, links up the passive from Stormrazor as well, allows you to apply it onto multiple people at the same time and gives you the extra range. So this of course is gonna just net you more attack speed as well as the bonus range, etc. And then of course Ruins is a must to of course attack 3 people at the same time. You get all the other stats and attack speed blah blah as well, but the most important part is of course just attacking 3 people simultaneously. And the last 2 items are a classic one, of course IE for more crit damage and more reminder for grievous wounds, as well as some grievous wounds as well as some armor penetration. So the main thing that is missing really is Bloodthirster, right? You have no healing in this build except for Gluttonous Greaves. You can get Bloodline here, but you basically have no healing, right? So what I would recommend is, if you reach full build and the game is still ongoing, I recommend selling Stormrazor and getting Bloodthirster, because Stormrazor is really only good in the early stages of the game and really falls off in the late game. So by the time you reach full build, it's time to sell Stormrazor and get Bloodthirster. So well, for the runes, I think it's pretty obvious. Lethal Tempo for extra attack speed and range. Brutal, just for the extra auto attack damage. Giant Slayer generally is the best here, but Coup de Grace can work against a full squishy team. And here either Alacrity or Bloodline, depending on what you want and prefer. And then Bow Plating for the defensive stats. So for the spells, Flash together with Ghost all of the time, of course. Ghost, of course, synergizes very well with your passive. Of course, you can go Exhaust if there's a lot of assassins, but generally, I wouldn't want to play Jinx if there's a lot of assassins. Anyways, with all that said, let's hop into the gameplay. Okay, so let's take a look at our gameplay for this Jinx video. So as I said, I really don't recommend this build that I'm going for personally in this game. I recommend going for the normal Bloodthirster first item build. But again, I'm just testing out a new build, as I'm playing Jinx. Sometimes you, of course, gotta test out builds for yourself to decide if they're good or not, and determine if you like it or not. And I've determined after playing this game that this build just ain't the best, right? It's not bad, don't get me wrong, it's not bad, especially if you get a few early kills. Stormrazor first item can be a bigger spike and cheaper than Bloodthirster as well. However, I think in the long run, Bloodthirster is just better for giving you the extra physical fam and just more stats in general. So, of course, this video, I wouldn't say it's focused on showing off the Arcane 2 Jinx skin. I keep saying Arcane 2 Jinx, but it's actually Arcane Prodigy Jinx, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Of course, I love this skin personally. I think that this is Jinx's best skin. I'm not sure if it's biased from watching the show and having like a, connection to the character or what, but I think objectively, I really just don't like Jinx skins. They're like, basically, the 2 champs that I don't like skins are like Jinx and Tristana. I think Tristana skins are not very nice. I think Jinx skins are not very nice either. So I never really liked majority of skins for these champions. Like, I think there's some that are okay, but none of them I think are great. I actually think this skin is great. Like, I love these effects, like this like purple bluish kind of effect, and just like the effects in general. The only kind of gripe I have with the skin is number one, it doesn't have the metal finger, which of course in game itself it's you can't tell at all, so it really doesn't matter, right? Another thing of course that is missing is the combined gun, right? So in the show, I guess I should put a minor spoiler here if you guys are not aware, haven't watched the show yet, But in the show, the minigun and the rocket launcher get combined into one weapon. So it becomes one super long weapon with like 2 hits. One side is the minigun and one side is the rocket launcher. And on League PC's skin, you do have that. But on Wild Rift skin, it's still separated into 2 different weapons. You can see here she's combining into one on the recoil animation, and this is what the weapon's supposed to look like what you saw in the recoil there. But for some reason, when she actually plays with it in the game, it's separated into 2 weapons. And here you can see the rocket launcher is on her back and she's carrying the minigun. Of course, when you pop your Q, it is just gonna swap around like any other Jinx skin. But yeah, so things that I like, of course, as I said, are the effects. I like when you get excited, get your passive on. I love those effects as well. And I also like the hood, right? So in the show, she has the hood. I think that one's not really a spoiler. I think everyone knows that. It's even in the trailer. But in the PC, the hood is down, right? I don't really like the short haircut of Jinx, so I actually like the hood to be up. And in this particular one, the hood is up, right? So it looks great, in my opinion. And yeah, so another just funny backstory about this game is that this Lulu actually got ADC and I got support. So I was actually planning to play support, and the Lulu showed Kai'Sa and just declared I got Mastery 6 on Kai'Sa. So just as a joke, I declared Kai'Sa as well, and I showed Mastery 7 on Kai'Sa. And then she immediately swapped to Lulu, and she's like, yeah, you know what, you play ADC. Then I'm like, no, I was just kidding, it was just a joke. You can go ahead, I'll play support, because the game gave me support. I don't want to be that guy who steals other people's roles, I just ain't, I ain't like that. So I tried to encourage him to play ADC, and he said, you know what, I'm tired of playing ADC every game, let me just play support. So I'm like, alright, fine. So I picked Jinx. He picked Lulu, so I picked Jinx, because obviously Jinx loves having a Lulu or a Yuumi to just, support them. So that's exactly, what I did. I just picked up Jinx, and, here we are in the match now. So I spent pretty much like 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes, just talking about Jinx's skin and the context to the match. So I guess we can focus a little bit more on the gameplay now. Let's take stock of what's happened so far. So you saw just now Wukong came in for a gank. We were able to kill Seraphine pretty easily. Ezreal overstayed a little bit, and we're able to get a free kill on him, so putting us at 1-0-1. Other than that, not too much has happened in the game. Of course, right after that, Xin Zhao did come and gank Wukong and get a kill on him. We weren't quite able to help because we were pretty low on health and mana as well, but we thankfully didn't die ourselves. So that brings us to pretty much where we are now, which pretty much as a Jinx in the early game, your job is relatively simple. All you really want to do is you just want to farm. Generally, you don't want to fight. I wouldn't say not at all, but in general, you just don't really want to fight, right? So here, Seraphine ult, kind of just huge whiff there on the Seraphine ult. Xin Zhao is not getting caught in the jungle. We're making our way there as quickly as we can, blasting him. We get the kill on him with the Super Mega Death Rocket. Now we're going for the Seraphine. Next, we get her, and as we're running for the hills, here, for some reason, Aurelion Sol decides to come in from behind. Morgana picks up the kill onto him, and we're able to, get a couple quick kills, putting us at 3-0-2 in the early game. So this is ideal kind of game for going for Stormrazor. Of course, as I said, if you get a hit, going for Stormrazor is, I wouldn't say it's insane, but it's really, if you had to build Stormrazor, the best situation to build it in is when you're a hit. You're gonna get super accelerated in goal. You're gonna get to Stormrazor goal really, really quickly. And of course, you're going to be able to snowball your lead very effectively with the Stormrazor. Now, the issue is that you can snowball your lead very effectively with, like, Bloodthirst as well, right? So why would you go Stormrazor? But yeah, Stormrazor is... I'm not going to dunk on Stormrazor too much. It's definitely a viable item for, people who like playing with Stormrazor for sure. But it's definitely not a must-build every game kind of item. So yeah, Dragon is up, but unfortunately we really need to reset to get Stormrazor, so we just reset anyway. And I'm okay with giving the Dragon, but Wukong seems to want to contest, so I'm heading to the area, not going too close because there's a Darius that I don't get hooked over the wall. You get a nice route done. I'm actually stacking up my lethal sample onto the Darius, and I'm just blasting people over the wall, trying to get the reset on Darius, which we do. Now I'm blasting the Ezreal 1v1. Seraphine comes over to help, gives him the shield, and I'm not quite able to get him. Now I get exhausted and slowed, so I'm going to have to flash the wall here. Seraphine out whiffs once again. The Seraphine is not really the best at hitting her ulti. Here, I get ulted by Lulu, which I guess does give me the health, but that's a really rare Lulu ult. So here you can see I'm still doing insane damage as long as I can actually hit, but I'm out of mana, so I'm not actually able to use the rockets, which is kind of an issue. I get hit by an Ezreal ult. I'm honestly relatively fine. I say that as I keep getting pelted by spells, but either way, I'm gonna reset because I really need mana, if not health, right? I really need both. But at this point in time, mana is really what I need. So here, going back, grabbing all of those resources, And also getting myself the Zeal, which is gonna, of course, eventually build into the Blaster. So here we're in a really decent spot. 3-0 and 3 is really insane scoreline for Jinx. Jinx is typically a champion that doesn't get a hit in the early game. You typically only just kind of like, stay even, sometimes even behind. So whenever you are ahead, the game is just really gonna be in your hands. It's gonna be really insane because when you are ahead, you have the power to carry the game even more so, right? So here I'm just dodging the relentless ult. I'm just trying to ult down Darius. We get him, I get the reset, and I don't know if you really want to count that as a KS, because technically it was, but when you have to commit your ult, which does of course do low health damage, and also Morgana and Aatrox don't really do the most damage, but yeah, we do get that. So here we're trying to use the mimics to get the plates, but I think the plates fall off right as the mimics proc, because I don't think we got any gold there, which is really unfortunate. We can, however, force down the tower because it's pretty unprotected. Although we do end up trading for the bot lane tower, mid lane is way more important, so that's that's where it's at. So here I pop the ghost, and the ghost actually saves me from getting hooked in by Darius, which could have been a disaster. So a huge ghost value right there. The ghost pretty much just saved my life in my opinion. So I was pretty much dead without the ghost there. But yeah, I do save myself by popping that ghost. So here, no one's in bot lane to farm, so I'm gonna quickly come back to bot, quickly farm, and admire the effects of the skin as I am blasting minions with my minigun. Yeah, I'm just in love with this skin. I have been waiting for an opportunity to play Jinx. I mean, Jinx is really not the strongest ADC right now. She's on the weaker side, so you can't just pop Jinx into any kind of team comp and make it work, right? Jinx really needs a particular kind of team comp, and really the bare minimum, in my opinion, is a supportive champion on your team, right? So Lulu is kind of the bare minimum, like, to make Jinx kind of playable. I mean, yes, you can play Jinx with like an engager and like with a full like all-in kind of team. It can work, of course, but it's just not the most ideal. So here, you can see one of the benefits of Stormrazor, slowing Xin Zhao down, forcing his flash because of that slow. And we're kind of going into what looks like might be a team fight. Huge 3-man hook by Darius into a 3-man Q, which does heal him up a lot. And I'm realizing we cannot possibly, kill him or reach him. So we are just gonna head back to the mid lane, where we get poked down a little bit by the enemy team on our way there. Looks like a fight might, break out here. Morgana gets kind of stunned up, but is protected by Lulu and is able to walk it off. No big deal there. Aatrox coming in on the flank. I'm thinking this is our time to shine, but Aatrox ends up doing actually nothing except taking damage. Darius comes back in with the hook. I'm just focusing him so we can get the reset. I get him. Ulti hits onto the wrong guy, but unfortunately here I get chain CC'd by literally everything. And unfortunately I die. Now honestly, I thought this would be like a pentakill here. I saw so many low HP bars and I was like, they're all here. Like, this is just reset city time. Instead, what happened, I killed one person and I died. So yeah, sometimes you see it in your eyes, but it just doesn't happen. I have no idea what the Wukong is doing here, by the way. He's 1 HP. He's a tickle away from dying, but he's in the enemy jungle. And he's now taking the Hex Gate to the other side of the enemy jungle. I have no idea what this mad lad is doing, but but yeah. So next dragon is going to be spawning soon. I'm assuming it's going to be where our team is going next. So I'm making my way toward the dragon, but my team is kind of resetting at the moment. So it's going to be a little bit of time. But at this point, we now have our second item already. And, we are, of course, waiting for the third item. Jinx, of course, kind of is a 3-item power spike kind of ADC. Of course, with every item, it gets better. But, you really want to be getting those 3 items. So here, Lulu gets hooked over the wall, but is able to flash right back over, so nothing really happens. The enemy team gets a relatively free dragon, and Aatrox is split pushing the top lane. So here, basically, Aatrox is creating like a little bit of pressure, pushing the top lane. He gets the tower, actually, and he's kind of pulling the enemy team toward him, and he's actually wisely recalling. And in the meantime, we're creating pressure in mid, so the enemy team kind of doesn't know where to go, right? They kind of have to split their attention between 2 lanes, and we're kind of playing the macro game a little bit here. Although we don't really have the waves to really push in the mid lane tier 2, and we can't really force it too hard. It's a little bit too dangerous for that. So instead, we're gonna go. So here we can see a huge wave in top. Now, unfortunately, Morgana and Wukong are kind of making their way towards there, so I'm not gonna fight them for it. I'm just going to grab the red buff instead, and maybe go to mid lane or somewhere else to farm. Like, I mean, 3 people going down for that one wave is a little bit overkill. Not really the best macro. Here, Aatrox is getting a little bit caught up by Xin Zhao. I'm not sure if he's getting caught up or he's doing the catching, but either way, they get into a fight. And I'm not exactly rushing to go there, but it appears Aatrox is on the winning end because not only is he full HP, but he forced Zinja to flash. So Aatrox definitely won that one. And here Baron is about to spawn. So here we're checking, and I'm putting a ward down over the bush over the Baron wall. Now my team is kind of like pinging Baron for some reason. I don't really think we're that strong to do Baron, but I'm going to make my way over to the area to of course be there for the fight, because I'm obviously a Fed ADC, and obviously my team is kind of going to want me in the fight to of course, you know, do some DPS. So here is kind of where, you know, we're forcing the Baron. The enemy team obviously know it because we've made it pretty obvious that we're trying to force Baron. They put a war over the wall. Zinjao comes over at like 3k health left. And for some reason, somehow, the enemy team actually gets the Baron. And here I'm kind of slowed by Aurelion Sol, and I can't really go anywhere. And my team basically gets wiped with the exception of Aatrox. Aatrox is able to survive, but we basically die. Excuse me. So at this point, we have, of course, a little bit of an issue, right? Because enemy team now has Baron, and we basically all died. We basically thrown our entire lead there. Enemy team is now 2k gold ahead. Not that we were really that far ahead anyway, but now the enemy team has Baron. They're gonna get more gold from getting towers. They've just killed all of us. They've gone, you know, every shutdown they can, if there even is any, which I think there actually isn't, because my team is not really doing very well actually. But yeah. So now I'm back. But I was kind of doing a little bit, I was kind of moving myself IRL, so I kind of stood still there for like 2-3 seconds. Anyway, I'm getting out of the base. I'm really close to getting Runan, so I really want to get this wave. So I'm going into rocket mode. I'm just blasting the wave from afar. I actually now have enough for getting my Runans, but I'm just trying to help out Morgana clear this wave here to hopefully defend this tower. Now I'm going back I'm not even going back a safe distance, but I'm rather just walking my way all the way back to base. I pick up the Runans. Runans, of course, huge pickup for Jinx. 3 item power spike at this point. I'm going to hit back to help Morgana a little bit, but I see a mid lane wave. I'm just going to go ahead and clear this mid lane wave while it's uncontested. No one is really stopping me from clearing it, so I'm going to quickly clear it before someone actually does stop me from clearing it. Meanwhile, the enemy team are forcing the bot lane tower. They do get the bot lane tier 2, which is not the biggest deal in the world. We still have an inhib to defend, and their wave is still pretty far off, so we are still all good. Now we are gonna clear out the mid lane again. Of course, really important to do so. Now here I'm just clearing up the minions. Now here Wukong smites away the minion. In case you're wondering, I'm not tilted or anything at him here. I'm just a little occupied IRL. So yeah, I was not tilted at him or anything. I was just a little bit occupied. So yeah, that's pretty much the story. So here anyways, back to clearing the wave. Again, I'm a little bit busy IRL here, just trying to shift and adjust myself as well as my setup. But yeah, so a little bit of a AFK there. So here the last dragon is coming up. It is soul for the enemy team, but it is mountain soul, which is not really the most valuable, especially considering their team comp. Maybe it's pretty good on maybe Darius and Zinjao. Not too big of a deal overall. It's definitely not worth dying over. So here, considering our team is not really in the best shape, I don't think we should really contest the dragon here. However, a huge fight is actually breaking out. So here, I'm just going to stay max distance and try to blast wherever I can. Darius is actually really low. I flashed out of the A slot for the 3rd time this game. And here I'm just blasting with my Runans as well. I believe I get a kill or 2. And here I'm going ham, right? So unfortunately, I'm not able to blast the Ezreal. I've actually almost killed A soul as well. So here, because of my insane damage, we're actually able to win the team fight 1-for-3 trade. And my team is going to be able to get the dragon and deny the soul from the enemy team. In the meanwhile, while my team is doing that, I don't expect the 1 HP Aso and Ezreal to contest, right? So I'm not going to help my team with the dragon. I'm going to make better use of my time by, number 1, clearing the waves to prevent them from taking our towers and our base, but number 2, also to get more farm for myself. Right, so here, I'm realizing that the problem is generally the Aso and to a small extent the Seraphine. So I'm actually going to switch to MR boots and then get QSS, of course, so that I can stop flashing out of the Aso ults and the Seraphine ults if need be. I can just QSS it away and solve my issues that way. And in this match, I actually decided not to go for IE. I decided that in this particular match, going for a Bloodthirster here would actually be better. Because I actually realized that at this point, getting the extra healing from Bloodthirster is going to help out a lot in these fights. Because I'm taking a decent amount of damage as well as dealing damage. So I actually think the healing here will be better than just raw damage from IE. Although that's pretty debatable. But, you know, kind of depends on the way you see it. So here Darius is kind of getting caught out 1v2. I really didn't want to fight this, but since my whole team is there, I kind of need to be there to DPS him down so that my Darius doesn't just wipe and pentakill my team with his resets. Xin Zhao now gets baited in, and he's not in a really bad spot. We do lose Lulu though, which is a really huge loss to me especially. But here you can see I'm max range blasting them with my Runans. Xin Zhao here gets caught. I'm blasting. I get the kill onto him as well. I get excited, but I don't really want to run into the rest of them. So overall, you can see that now I've basically scaled, right? 3 item Jinx is like a scaled Jinx. Of course, it's going to be even better when you hit 4 or 5 items, but at this point, you can see I'm already in position to carry my team. At the dragon fight, you know, at the top lane fight, you know, I'm already kind of winning fights for my team. I'm 8-2-5 now with 14k gold, most gold in the game, tied with Xin Zhao. You know, considering how fat Xin Zhao is, he doesn't seem to be making a very huge impact, which is, you know, music to my ears. And the Elder Dragon is coming up in 20 seconds. So that's obviously the next place that we kind of want to be. So we want to make our way there slowly but surely. And on the way there, we're going to clear out the mid lane so that we can get some mid lane priority and then hit over to the Elder Dragon. I'm with the Aatrox. I kind of want Aatrox to kind of check. But anyways, Wukong is the one who goes in first. So putting the ward over the wall to kind of check when enemies are coming. This is really dangerous. I don't think we can really do it in time before enemies come, but I'm going to try anyway. I'm just blasting the Elder Dragon here. And here Darius flashes in with the hook, but I actually get saved by my Lulu ulti here. Here I'm again max range blasting whoever I can. Aso ulti comes in. I mistime the QSS. I actually QSS after, which is pretty useless. Then I get charmed. And now here I'm again max range just blasting whoever I can. I try to rocket and kill the Xin Zhao, but it doesn't actually work. And Xin Zhao actually survives on like 1 HP, which is a little bit unfortunate because it means that a steal is not possible, right? 3 people on my team have died. No one on the enemy team has died. And Xin Zhao is in the pit. With smite available, so no chance of a steal, no reason to go anywhere near the pit, because what's going to happen is when they get the Elder, they're just going to flash over the wall, hop over the wall, whatever it takes, get over the wall and kill us, right? So that's not what we want. So instead we cut our losses, we recall, and we're just going to clear the wave here, pretty much get all of the gold there. We also pick up the anti-heal component. The execution is calling early, not early but earlier than completing the full item, because you know, really got to cut the healing of people like Darius, for example, you know, and just, you know, really useful item in general, so we're going to go for that. Now here, again, I'm just trying to get as much farm as possible, get to my Bloodthirster. Of course, that's going to be my next item. It's going to be a pretty huge spike, and here we grab it. So here are 4 items now. Here I'm using my rocket to actually check for Baron, but they're actually not doing it, which I thought that they would be. But, I mean, even if they are, right, that was just you know, a shot in the dark at trying to steal it, because even if we know they're doing it, we're not going to actually go in there and like face check, right? Yeah, I'm just like getting farm, which is the Gromp. But there's no reason to go in there because they have Elder. They're going to wipe us if we go there. They're just going to end the game instantly. So I'm going to take my chances with the base defense instead. Here I'm just quickly trying to clear the wave before they get the Baron buff on the wave. Like before they get into TX and get the Baron buff. Here I'm just quickly going to grab this red buff. Actually, Wukong was on the way. Could have given him the last hit so we could share, but I honestly didn't notice. I was so focused on like where's the enemy team, how can we stop them from winning the game, that yeah, I didn't really notice. But yeah, it's not really the most important thing at this point. So here TX is barreling down, and here, of course I know what happens is the replay. Here I really wanted to show you the power of Jinx with her rockets and with Runans, right? So here, with rocket, Runans, as well as of course having the magnetic blast, you can pretty much blast people from long range, right? So here, we take a look. I'm blasting TX, and look at all the Runans and the rocket bolts just hitting for free onto people behind. Like look at Ezreal health. Look at you know, look at Aso. You know, let's look at how much damage they're taking. I'm barely taking any damage, right? Because not much can really reach me. Like here again, I'm going into rocket mode. I'm just blasting. I'm blasting. Wait, hang on a minute. There we go. I'm blasting. Seraphine just dies. I get the reset. I'm just now just going ham. Boom, 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 and just everyone just dies. I get a triple. And this actually could have been a penta here. If we are able to last hit Xin Zhao and then chase the TX down. But obviously with Xin Zhao being in GA, chasing down the TX afterwards is pretty unlikely. So, you know, it's not happening. Either way, we don't even get the last hit on Xin Zhao. But at this point in time, this is like our best chance to like turn the game on its head and just go for the dub right here. So we are gonna just rush down mid and try to end the game. So here Darius actually hops out of TX so he can recall and defend the base, which is actually a pretty good decision by him. Here I focus the tower so I can get the reset off of the tower and blast the minions. And here I actually make a little bit of a mistake by attacking Darius. So now I have red buff on him, so I'm going to tank the base. But Darius actually clears the minions. I'm now tanking the base. I'm just blasting the base. And thankfully we're able to end the game before the enemy team is able to respawn and stop us. So we do get the win there. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual once again. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. And goodbye.